Good morning. At this particular time, we want to enter into money, banking, monetary policy, and what have you. And in order for us to begin our discussion of money, we have to talk about what money is versus what money is not. We can actually define money, or the definition of money can be the same as, or is the same, I should say, as the functions money provides. So if we take a look up here, we have the functions of money, which again is the same as the definition. The functions of money, or the definition of money, is threefold. All three elements must be included in the definition or the functions of money. First of all, it is a medium of exchange. With the use of money, money allows us to choose from another type of barter. Barter is basically just the transfer of goods and services for goods and services. Money allows us to avoid, if you will, to avoid the problems that barter has. Some of the problems barter has is that there has to be a double coincidence of needs, meaning that you have to have exactly what I want. If I want you to paint my house and you want 3 bushels of potatoes, but I only grow corn, then I have to go out and try to find somebody who's willing to trade me potatoes for corn on a one-to-one basis. That can take a lot of time. The second problem with barter that we have is the idea of value. A corn might not be considered the same value as a potato. And money avoids all those problems. If I ask you to paint my house and you tell me that the price to paint your house is $3,000, I know exactly what that is. I can give you 3,000 $1 bills. I can give you 30 $100 bills, or I can even tear a piece of paper out of a book, write 3,000 on it, and sign my name on the bottom, and you'd probably take it. So as a medium of exchange, it allows us to trade. That's all money is a trade. It allows us to trade for other types of goods and services by avoiding the pitfalls that that barter has. The second thing is it is a store of value. It is a store of value in the situation that money will continue to have value. It might not have as much value in the future because of inflation or other things, but it still allows you to spend. If we go back to the concept of barter, if you know that you're going to be needing 3 bushels of potatoes 10 years from now, well, it's very difficult to be able to save for that, to plan for that. And hopefully you will have that amount of potatoes in 10 years. But in reality, it would be best for you to put those potatoes away for now, but in 10 years they will spoil. With money, you can take excess money that you have and you can put it into an institution, perhaps called a bank. And in 10 years, you can go withdraw that money, and that money would still have value to you. Again, it might not have as much value because of inflation and other particulars inherent into the environment, but it would still have value. Instead of buying $10,000 worth of goods and services, it may only buy $8,000 or $9,000 worth of goods and services, but it is still spendable. And the final thing is that it is a unit of account. It is how we measure the value or the utility. If we go back into one of the very earlier chapters of Supply and Demand, we talked about the utility. I'm sure you've gone into a restaurant and you've paid $30 for a meal and thought, gee, it was okay, but it wasn't worth $30. You have an idea in your mind exactly how much happiness you should get from a particular good. You've gone to movies already and thought, gee, that movie was great. I would very much spend the same amount of money to see that movie again. Or you could come back and you could say, well, it was okay, but I wish I would have waited for it to come out on DVD, or I can download it from Netflix or what have you. The other thing with the unit of account comes into play with the idea of opportunity cost. How much I have to give up in order to choose something. If a pound of bananas is $1, I don't want to say a pound of bananas. If taking a course here at Wilmington University is $1,000, I know exactly how much I have to give up for that. I have to give up X number of books for that. I have to give up a vacation for that. I have to give up the ability to save for a new house or a new car in order to take a course here at Wilmington University. So therefore, we have the idea of the unit of account. The next thing we have to take a look at is the types of money that we have, because not all money is immediately available to us. You can own a Rembrandt painting, and you can show somebody at Wawa the note that says that you own a Rembrandt painting, but you can't use that note to buy a $1.50 Coca-Cola. So therefore, we have different types of money that's available to us. And we're only going to take a look at two, and specifically we're going to look at one. The first one is called the money supply. The money supply is money that is in circulation today. The money that can be easily turned into other forms of assets. Money that can be easily spent today. We note this as M1. And this is called the money supply. This is the amount of money that is in circulation today. And the components, those things that make up M1 or the money supply, the things that you can immediately spend money on today or use money today is the cash that's in your pocket. And when we talk about cash, we're talking about cash and coins. And also what we call checkable deposits, your checking account. Very, very basically. We also call checkable deposits demand deposits. And we're going to take a look at how that plays into the money supply in a little bit. But for right now, M1 is the amount of money that can be immediately spent, that you can go down and spend today. That is the money that you have in your pocket right now or in your checking account. We have another category of money that I'm just going to mention. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. It's called M2, and we call this near monies. Near monies would be saving time deposits that might take time to get out. Would be money market accounts, so those types of things. So therefore, M2 is the calculation of M1, which is cash and checkable deposits, plus our savings accounts, plus our money market demand accounts, or deposit accounts, excuse me. We have small time deposits that you would have, less than $100,000, plus we would have money market fund accounts by individuals. And this is M2, and like I said, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on M2, and I'm only bringing them up now just to make you aware that they exist. This is the primary, the money supply. The money that is in circulation today is the most important to us at this particular time, at this particular development of your economic study. I want to talk a minute about credit cards. A lot of people think that credit cards are money. Credit cards are not money. Credit cards basically is a short-term interest-free loan. Interest-free, providing you pay it off within the 18 or the 20 days that you have. If you go much longer, it's called loan sharking, basically, if you're going to be paying the 21, 23% that you have. But credit cards are not considered money. I want to go back to the money supply for a minute. When we came up, when we came up with the term money supply, basically we just had cash and checkable deposits. That has been expanded now to include money orders, of course your debit cards and things like that, things that are automatically attached to your either cash or your checkable deposits. But credit cards, again, are not considered money. It's a short-term interest-free loan. We want to take a look at what backs the money supply, what gives the money supply its value. Well, there are three things. Number one, the degree of acceptability. Those of you who work, and I would imagine all of you have worked at some time in your life, you might not necessarily work right now for a variety of different reasons, but I'm sure all of you have worked at some particular time. You accepted money, you accepted checks as payment for your labor. Because people accept checks or accept money for payment of goods and services. They accepted dollars and cash, coins, checks, and what have you for the payment of a car, for the payment of groceries, for the payment of a movie, if you will. So therefore, what backs our money is acceptability. The second thing is it is legal tender. The government says it's legal, and therefore businesses have to accept money, and also the idea of relative scarcity. Relative scarcity means the idea of having to purchase something that is scarce, obviously. A lot of people used to think that money was backed by a particular metal commodity, i.e. gold, silver, what have you. That is no longer in existence. We haven't been on a gold standard or silver standard since roughly the 70s. And we also, in the last portion of this particular video, we want to take a look at the value of money. And the value of money is equal to, the value of money, V, is equal to $1 divided by the price of the good, assuming that the change in the price of a good is only because of inflation, if you will. So therefore, let's assume that a loaf of bread that you bought last week was $1. You go in now and buy the same loaf of bread, 20 pieces of bread, Wonder Bread, whatever kind you want, but it's the exact same loaf, and that bread now is $1.20. That means that your purchasing power, $1 divided by 120, is actually only 83 cents. So obviously the higher the price of the good is, keeping the value of the good the same, the less your money is worth. Obviously because you have to pay more now for your money than you did before. So this kind of sets the stage for the idea of money. And we're going to take a look at the Federal Reserve Board and some of the other particular things in a little while. Thank you very much, and have a